Okay, so we got episode 5, The King of Omashu, and this was a weird one. This one was really odd. The basic story, if you don't remember, is the three kids, they travel to this city that seems to be filled with earthbenders, and it sort of shows how the city functions. Again, the city's awesome. They have this really cool city that has all these slides that transport everything that they need. The earthbending can get the stuff up, but then they need to send it back down, so they use these slides. And of course, the kids use it for what most kids will use it for, slides. Well, that's... So there's some weird stuff in this one, like, for example, they need to sneak into this place, and they don't want them to know that he's the Avatar. I'm not entirely sure why, but, so they have to disguise him as an old man. Alright, well that's already strange, you know, and he has the high-pitched voice, but... Kid show, whatever, haha. They get in, and they find this really kooky king, which is a cool idea, and sometimes they really have fun with it. But he is just so strange, and I usually love strange characters, but this guy is so odd. And what they choose to focus on is really odd. You know, maybe that's it. Maybe it's not even really the character, it's just what they choose to focus on. Like, he'll say a line, and then, like, he'll eat some lettuce, and they'll really focus on him eating the lettuce and, like, squinting his eye or something. I'm like, why? Is that your way of showing he's weird? You've already done that fine. So, he sort of, the king figures out who this kid is, and he has him go through these challenges in order to get his friends back. He puts this ring on the friends, which is like this crystal that keeps growing and growing until it consumes them, and if he can get through the challenges in time, he'll let them go. If you watch Deep Space Nine, you kind of know they're getting it from that, but oh my god, that's so geeky. But anyway, maybe same idea, you know, perfectly possible. And the whole idea of the challenges, I guess, sort of is a good idea. All the challenges had sort of like a trick to it, or it wasn't what you expected. You know, like, there's even one where, you know, this old guy, the old king, he has these two soldiers come out, and he says, you can choose any of the men in front of you to fight. Yeah, to fight against for the final challenge. And the kid, the Avatar, thinks he's gonna fool the old man and chooses him, the old man. And then the old man actually reveals he's this unbelievably strong, incredible earthbender, and, you know, they have the great big fight. So I sort of like that, like a trick on top of a trick. But I guess the purpose was just to show him to always think out of the box. Cool, you know, alright. It'll be interesting to see if that actually comes back, whether that's relevant, but this definitely seems sort of like a side episode. Again, what I enjoy the most about is just the creativity of the city and the idea of the slides, though I don't know how this old guy, I'm giving nothing away by this, but this, well, it doesn't matter, you've seen the episode. The old guy, the king, is his best friend, Aang's best friend when he was younger, and it's so friggin' obvious, but they sort of, they play it like a mystery, but I mean, I think even little kids would be like, yeah, we know, come on. And the other thing is, what kid, what person would not put together to go along these slides and ride them like slides? And it's a great scene, and when they finally do it and they, whatever, some of the packages are riding behind them and gonna hurt them accidentally if they squash into them. I mean, so there's a lot of fun stuff with it. There's this thing with this cabbage guy that's cute. But it's like, you know, he points to the kid like, he's a mad genius, and it's like, well, who didn't... You know what, maybe that's the joke. Maybe the joke is actually he wasn't like a mad genius, it's like anyone could put this together. Maybe that's the joke. I don't know. But, needless to say, it was an odd episode. There was nothing with the prince in it. There was nothing really furthering the story. You didn't learn too much about the characters. Again, you just sort of learned that the Zhang kid, like, literally the only reason they traveled to this place is to enjoy the slides. And that's just, it's kind of a fun charm about him that, you know, they should be discovering all these mysteries about him, or they should, you know, be getting Katara to the whatchamacallit, you know, what are they going, the South Pole, North Pole? I forget. One of the poles, the North Pole. That's right, because she's going to learn from Santa how to waterbend, but instead they're just going these slides. So, cute, you know, sort of a kind of a weak excuse to show off these places, but, you know, it's fun enough, and it's obviously just sort of a diversion episode. And that's always what sucks when you have to do something like this. Not that, I don't know if a lot of people do this, but, you know, when you have to go through episode, you know, you had to say, well, this one was filler, and couldn't they challenge us more with this episode? And I know shows need filler, you know, I understand that. So, you know, I'm not going to be like, challenge me more. It's just, it's part of it, especially being a kid show. You need the one that had the filler. I wish the comedy was a little better since the last one was so funny. And of course, this is the one where my wife walks in. You know, I'm just eating lunch, and I'm saying, oh, I'm just putting on this Avatar show. Oh, okay. And she says, so this is supposed to be really good, right? And everyone loves it. I'm like, yeah, it's really good. And imagine you're coming into this and you see that for the first time. Would you be hooked into the show? Would you be like, oh yeah, this looks like a real great thing? It's like, no, really, it's really good. So, so maybe she'll watch another episode. I don't know, but yeah. So it's just sort of a subpar episode, but again, that's to be expected. I hate talking that way, you know, like, oh, it's not up to my standards, but that's, you know, that's just how shows are going to be. There's going to be some that are just everyday shows, you know, and not much to them, but you need those breathers as well. So, that's about it. See you for the next one.